What's up, guys? It's Charles here with Rocket Punch Army to do a review and really comparison. Alright, so you see I got two boxes here. If you are familiar with the Takara release of MP-10, you'll notice they don't come in boxes this size unless you get like the MP-10 black. But you'll see this is the regular MP-10 with one of the smaller boxes, and you'll see there's two of them. The reason for that is because I'm going to do a comparison while I do the review for the version 2 KO. That's right, folks, I'm going to be reviewing another KO. This time it's an updated version of the first version Optimus Prime KO. On the left side is the KO first version, on the right side is the second version. Really no differences in the boxes. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. You'll see they are identical. Nothing immediately different. Same back as the original one that I reviewed. So what we'll do now is take it out of the box. I usually like to open stuff from the bottom of the box. I don't know why. It's just my preference. But let's check it out. So we're going to pop the tray out. Okay. And I do recommend you guys watching the review of the version 1 so you really know what the hell I'm talking about in this review when it comes to the upgrades. Alright, which I'm going to go over anyway here, but at least you can see the difference. So as you can see, it does come in a tray similar to the other KO and similar to all other Takara releases. And you also get the instruction booklet here, which is a direct copy of the regular Masterpiece MP-10 from Takara, and you also get the spec sheet here. We'll take a quick look at the instruction booklet. As you can see, the outside is full color. When we get inside, it's just standard black and white, but you can tell it was scanned off the original. There's a little bit of dot matrix look to it, but it's printed on good paper. It's not that they used an inkjet printer, but the dot matrix effect comes from scanning the original. But yeah, so that's the booklet, and it also has the spec sheet, which you can see is a nice shiny cardboard, which is essentially the same as the regular MP-10, just scanned again. And here's the back, which shows all the specs. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them out of the tray. Just lay them down because there's a couple pieces that just want to fly out. We have the gun here, right, which is the same flip around gun as the regular MP-10s and the regular KO. We also have the Energon axe, which is made out of a soft rubbery material and sort of see-through, as you can see. And we also have a die-cast metal matrix with a nice clear blue center and copperish, goldish outside here edges. And then of course we have the version 2 KO. And here he is, so you can see the entire figure. I think upon first glance he does have a different look to the Takara. There's just something you may not immediately notice, but I am going to show you the differences because they are vast in my opinion. But when you look at it, you might assume this is a regular Takara version. I'm going to go ahead and spin it around just so you can see how the chrome shines and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you look at the back, and for some reason it just looks a little more detailed than you remember seeing it. Alright, so I'm going to leave the back here because I think this is probably the most prominent parts of the figure. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the regular Takara one off to the side. So which one looks more detailed to you guys? If you chose this one, yes, and the reason being, if you look right here, you see this silver piece. You don't see it on Takara. Same thing here, and so on and so forth here on the arms. You notice the arms are completely red on the back here, and you got the details there. And as we move down, you'll see that there's dark spots in the legs at the top and right here, right behind the thighs, and these are regular. You'll see the silver bits on the legs and none on the Takara. Let's take a look at the taillights. They're actually painted red on the knockoff and regular on the Takara. You'll see some detailing there, some gray detailing. If we look at the Takara, it's completely blank. And speaking of paint, if we move up, the Takara is just molded, I believe. I'm trying to see if there's really actually any paint on the Takara. It just looks like it's molded in red plastic. And if we take a look at the KO, it's actually been painted. All right, so the plastic is not only red, but it seems to have been painted on top. And they're not using just regular red paint. They're actually using some sort of flake in it. And it's not a strong, sparkly flake. It doesn't look all girly. It's just a slight metallic look, like a little misting of metallic. And you'll also find it on the blue areas. You can probably almost just see it there on camera as compared to the Takara. So it does give it a bit more life, I think. Another bit I almost missed here is the cab lights are painted orange. You'll see the Takara didn't even bother painting those. I mean, what kind of extra investment would you need to do to get those little things painted there? So there's a bunch of stuff which I mostly covered in the first version. But this review is mostly to compare the version 2 with the version 1 to see what kind of improvements there are. Alright, so let's get version 1 here and do the comparison. So you can see they are beautiful, beautiful figures. Nothing wrong with version 1 if you have version 1. But I think the biggest concern with a lot of people was the gaps in the arm. And you'll notice even with the replacement, because you did get replacement arm pieces with version 1, is that there's still a gap. Alright, now if you look at the new version, there's no gap. It's completely gone. And I said another improvement was making the eyes clear. These do look translucent on the version 1, but they do look a little more glassy, like more see-through, not as opaque on the version 2. What I can do is try and show you what I'm talking about. This is the version 1. We're going to look right into his eyes, and you'll see they are clear plastic, but they look almost dark and lifeless. Now if we grab version 2, you can see they're also clear, but there's some like kind of blue back there reflecting back. And although the eyes are still dark, they're definitely a lot clearer. You can almost see a lot of the blue from back there shining through. It seems to be a little more visible with plain eyes instead of a camera, but it's there. And here's a good chance to check out the metallic paint that's on the head. I did go over the paint earlier with the Takara. That is the difference in paint also. For this one, the regular KO had the non-metallic finish. You can really see it there. You can see all the metallic flake here and just regular blue plastic. Now one of the things I was hoping they would have upgraded with version 2 is the hands. I'm surprised they didn't go ahead and try and upgrade this. You'll see the hands are nicely painted with metallic blue. But, yeah, they're still non-detailed. You'll see there's no indication of separate fingers here. It's just really the index. Now the one good thing they did do with the index finger is that they actually pinned it. It's kind of hard to see, but they use a metal pin. It's just been painted over with the metallic blue. And one of the annoyances with the Takara was this little index finger popping off. What I did with my version 1 is replace it with KFC hands, which work really well. You do have to slightly modify the openings of the hands to fit over the what do you call it, the post here for the version 1, but I would highly recommend getting these hands also, just to make it look a lot better. And that's pretty much my only nitpick with version 2. Other than that, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think they did an incredible job. Let's go ahead and check out the Energon feature. There's a little indent here for the thumb. Go ahead and pop it in. It fits perfect in there. The next thing I want to show you guys is the matrix area. So we pop that open, and the matrix will plop right in there, and you can push it in to secure it. Next thing I'll show you guys is the blaster, which I've already placed back here in this little secret spot. And it's the fold-away type. I do have the KFC, which I showed you guys in another video, but let's try this out here. And look, actually there is an improvement, guys, on the hands this time around. There's actually a tab to tab the gun in. But again, they didn't really put the details on the hand, which is kind of weird. Figured they're going to do a remold, they might as well just fix the detailing. But you'll see it tabs right in, bring the fingers over, and there you are. And let's check out the articulation, see if we find any loose joints. We have the head here on a ball joint moving around just exactly like the original. We also have the arms, nothing loose with them. As you can see, they kind of stop here and there like while I'm spinning them. They also come out I know the Hasbro one I have, these things pop out way too easily. Just by handling them regularly, they slide out. This one doesn't seem to have that problem. Arms stay up, arms stay down. You got the elbows, you got the bicep swivel, then you have the articulated wrist, right? You also have the waist. Check out the waist on this guy. We also have the hips that go out and go in. You also have, wow, really strong ratchets. There you go. And then we have the knees here, also on nice ratchets. And then we have the feet here, which have this movement for giving them a wide stance. You also have the toe here and the ankle. And the ankle also pivots, as does the rest of the foot, up and down. I think we can go ahead and get rid of version 1 now and complete the review on this figure. So overall, so far, very solid. Next thing I want to get into is transformation. A lot of people ask how the transformation is. And one of the difficulties on this figure, which according to the upgrades, is something about the joint being too tight or too loose or something like that. I think they were talking about the legs sliding up, which was a big issue for me with the version 1. After a couple of times, it just went up and down normally. So we're going to check that out during the transformation. I'm going to take a moment, grab the instructions, just review this since I haven't done this in a while, and then we'll get to transformation. Alright, so I'm going to try and follow the instructions while I do this. It does call for folding the arms up this way, bringing down these panels here, bringing the forearms around, closing these bits, and bringing down these little steps here. Then bring these leg pieces around to the inside. Then you want to push both the legs up by pressing the button here and just pushing all the way up. Then bring these two halves together and peg them just like that so they snap. And the feet got to slide in towards the middle and also tab into each other. Then spin his waist around and fold his feet. Bring these tanks up this way, which allows you to fold these around from the sides. Open his chest up by lifting slightly up and then out. Unsnap this by pushing forward and the bumper towards the back, like that. Then this die-cast section is going to bolt right into the chrome grill there. Fold this piece down, bring this and do that to it. Bring this whole chest section down, which forms the grill of the truck. Open up the bumper. When you bring it down, just make sure these things are out of the way so you don't scratch them. Bring his head in and hide it away towards the back. Then close the front of the cab there. Push the arms up on both sides. Then fold the arms back and align the sides over the wheels. Then bring these side pieces to the side and hook them over the front of the bumper. Then it's just a matter of slight alignments. This sort of had the same problem as the first one, where the fists were too big, which is the reason why they had those big gaps to begin with, was to clear space for those weird hands, which were causing different weird gaps here in vehicle mode. What I would suggest is just spin them around a different way, not the way the instructions say. You got to spin them around. And what I'm actually talking about is having them in this position. You can see they're not really sticking out over the top, and that was the issue. This whole space down here is to clear the thumb, so you don't want the thumb in there because then the hand is going to stick out too much. So if you put them this way, it will take care of the paneling issues. Here is vehicle mode version 2. Beautiful rubber tires, chrome rims, chrome tank, chrome everything, and it looks absolutely spectacular, guys. But I won't lie, it's not exactly perfect. You may have issues pushing the legs in. You may want to take it apart and grease it. I will hopefully make a video to show you how to grease the legs to keep you from having any issues. But overall, I'm so happy with this figure. Alright, just my thoughts before we wrap it up. Definitely an improvement over the version 1 as far as paint goes, and as far as the gaps here, completely gone, and the chest also. The one thing that did linger on or actually a couple of things, were the non-detailed hands, which I definitely recommend changing out if they bother you. You can always get the KFC hands, which are awesome. The second thing was the issue with the legs going up. I know a lot of people were concerned with how much force you have to put on the legs, and I did have to give it a bit of force, especially bringing them down. I know it's a little bit of annoyance, but you can take it apart. I probably will make a video on how to take this apart and lube it up, and it's going to help slightly, not as much as I had hoped, but it does help. But if you run into any problems, really just loosening up these 4 screws here does wonders. But that's not going to be an issue with everybody. And one more thing I forgot to show you is it does have movable wipers. I don't know if anybody's really going to take advantage of the movable wipers. And I guess the question on everybody's mind is, where do I get one of these? And that is, of course, from tfdirect.com, who was gracious enough to send me the version 2 and the version 1, which I have already reviewed. So make sure you check that review out also. And that's it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, bye-bye.
tfdirect.com